to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms. We really want to thank every single person that has subscribed to the channel, beloveds. Whoa, past 70K. I love it. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to like and share the video. Today, I actually have a question for you, beloveds. How well are you holding your position? Because, you know, there's so much that's bombarding us at this time because we're in the mental age and we're in the information age where all the truth can be known and is available. There's also a lot of fake news, false narratives that are being thrown at us. And so it's not so much, about what we do collectively as it is about what we're doing individually first. And that's why I keep stressing that, beloveds. Before you think of a collective movement, look at what is happening in your own life individually, because you need to be powering up. You need to be elevating yourself. That's the most important thing. And you need to just be holding your position. I think sometimes, and this is the problem of us all being online in this artificial mind that the Babylon system has created, because they created the matrix is in their artificial mind. And what this artificial mind has done is to totally warp all narratives and create his story that didn't even exist a few thousand years ago. And so but it makes us look out like, was Jesus black and white? What happened here? What happened there? What's the story here? And we're all seeking so much outside of ourselves when that is not the most urgent issue of the hour. I always say, look into history. If it will do something for you, to know that the master teacher, Yeshua, was a black man, and that there were many master teachers, beloveds, and many still, who had those powers and greater powers. Even, the scriptures tell you, greater powers than these shall you perform, or whatever. But all these narratives of how we were the pharaohs and how we did this and how we did that, we don't know it because it's not pertinent to what needs to be happening right now. And I know I might be sounding super controversial, because all of it is hearsay. It's been manipulated. It's been conjured up to mash us up. And I really feel that at this time, the ancient ones wanted us to walk in that spiritual blindness, maybe in that that blockage, but to really discover our power for ourselves. To say, despite that, what position have I come to hold? What position am I holding? That in spite of everything that has been obscured, that has been changed, that has been altered, that has been stolen, in spite of all that, I am that I am that I am. And nothing changes that, whether I know my story or I don't know my story. So my story at this point in time, when Babylon is falling and we're in a major, epic mental war, at this time, the only story and narrative that matters is the one that acts as a key to my transformation. So it was very reassuring, and it really did propel me, finding out that it was our descendants that, not descendants, but our ancestors that built the pyramids, for example. That, all the great things that built Timbuktu, that built the amazing monasteries in Ethiopia. It was our people that did all these wonderful things. But that should only be that should only be relevant to me if it triggers a certain self-confidence in myself that enables me to move forward. Because they are here amongst us now, beloveds. And the magical thing about being melanated is that they can lend their spirit and their power to you to move like they did then at such times as these. You just have to hold your position. There's so much you've already figured out of what you should be doing right now. And I really see it as like sports. Like, there's two teams, and you have your position, center forward, right wing, whatever, defense, goalkeeper. You have your position to play. And so your entire focus should be that position, beloveds. Because all that matters now is that position. It doesn't matter who you came from, what you were before. It's just like when we're on the playing field. You don't know that this person's a princess and this person's a, CEO's son and this person. You don't know any of that. And this person's a genius mathematician. No, they just happen to be the right wing of the team. You know what I mean? Like, we just have to hold our position and get all the necessary information that will help us to hold our position. But all we have is our position to hold. So we need to stop giving energy to the wrong things, beloveds, at such a time as this. There will come a time when you will have the luxury of figuring out, what is true and what is lie in his story, how the Mzungu whitewashed everything. You'll have that opportunity. But if you're a chosen one, we're in the season of doing. Which means you have to look at what position are you supposed to be playing. And that's the only position that matters. You don't need to know, how others... You may want to know how others played that position. That might be useful to you to kind of trigger your latent powers, your dormant powers. But most importantly, you just want to know, how do I hold this position better? By purifying yourself, by working closely with your spiritual team. And in holding your position, you don't need so much information, because you know what? Babylon right now, beloveds, is tweaking the truth daily. They're just slowly changing the facts. It's like Wikipedia, Now everything is Wikipedia. How Wikipedia, you can go and edit some story and add your own little version. That's what's happening in the world right now. So you have to do a bit, it's good to know certain things. It's good to have a general understanding of how everything has gone. Walk with absolute discernment. And always go by the rule that, I'm only absorbing the information that will help me to hold my position. If I'm here to attack, then I need all the information that will help me attack. If I'm here to heal, then I need all the information that will make me the best healer ever. So those are the bloodlines I study. But I don't need to know that Yeshua was the greatest healer ever and all these stories. The stories aren't important right now. Because the stories keep you from writing your own narrative, beloveds. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. We're talking about holding your position. How well are you holding your position? You're here on a specific assignment to do a particular great work, or to continue a particular great work for your beloved cosmic ancestors and your bloodline ancestors. You're a gift to your bloodline ancestors, beloveds. Many of the chosen ones who chose themselves. And, you have to ask yourselves now, because there's so many people who are sending me all these stories and histories, and, the Bantus were like this, and, the Kikuyus came from here, and all this stuff. I used that for my awakening, beloveds. I used that to get me to a certain point of self-confidence, to recognize who I was as a supreme being. Yeah, let me leave it at supreme being. To recognize that, to recognize my role at such a time as this. And once I had gained that confidence, like, yo, okay, our people built the pyramids, damn, all right, you know. Once I'd seen, oh, whoa, you know, the Agikoyo, we were part of Kemet and we came down like the Tana River and everything. And then, you know, the ark was given to us. Like, once that all was just to give me confidence. Because you see, as a woman, we were written out. But we know that the original societies of Africa were matriarchal. I can't find any true information on that, but I can, you see, all these things just push me closer. So as a woman, I can't just rely on the fact that there were only male priesthoods and there were only male this and there were only male that. When it's so obvious that the planet we live on is feminine, story, you know, is a feminine energy. And stories for other days, but you see, how well are you holding your position? So all these things that I discovered about who our people are, that enabled me to hold my position. And as I hold my position, more secret knowledge is revealed to me. The one that I can share and the one that is just for me, you know, for my evolution. But it's all been about me holding my position. And that's even why I stopped doing the news, because I realized, you know, how does certain news will not help me hold my position? Certain narratives that they're pushing on our people and trying to keep our attention on won't help me hold my position, because it's all just trivial theatrics. It's all just in this world, beloveds, in this material world that we see. But there's a much deeper world that is architecting what we're seeing. And as long as I'm still looking at what's happening here, I can't be an architect of what's going to happen next. I can't participate in what's happening behind the curtain. I become a victim of those that are able to have the self-discipline to pull themselves out. And you see, we've been made searchers and seekers, because there's so much that's been kept from us, and we want to know, because we're a knowing people. We've never survived on belief. We never believed, we knew. So belief is an alien. It's just as alien as the Matrix. It's one of those alien things that the Matrix brought in. And so the stories you seek right now should be the stories that power you up, that make you feel great. Because sadly, those stories are neither here nor there right now. Because we're here to build new kingdoms, beloveds. With everything that happened before. And all the ancestors and all the great kings and all the great queens that built all the great kingdoms and the pyramids and the great libraries and the great many wonderful things. All of them, their spirit continues. And they are willing to lend their spirit to those people that are holding their position. If you hold your position, you can be trusted with everything your position entails, beloveds. So if you know you're here to be a healer, try and learn everything about healing. But then you shouldn't really be concerned with, you know, the global narratives that are going on. What's happening in Rwanda and what's happening. All of this is folly, beloveds. That's where we've reached. Because we're next. We're the next act. And you can't be looking at the previous scene or scenes when you're up next. You should just be looking at scripts and at how people played your role before. Everything else is neither here nor there. And I say that to say, don't get caught up in all the stories, because that's the trap. The trap is believing one thing, you know? Living in a lie, being in a lie. That's what belief is. And if you're so involved in all the stories of what could have happened and who could have done this and what the Mzungu has done or what the Mzungu is doing or what the fake presidents are doing, all of that, if you're stuck in all those narratives, You won't have any energy to create your own story by holding your position. Because you haven't even seen the half of it, of how wonderful and miraculous this journey, this ride is. The ride of your true destiny. It's greater than any high that Babylon has to offer. How are you holding your position? Only your position matters. And you'll know in sports, like if you're playing your position, you don't care what, if you're playing football, you don't care who's playing basketball or what their score is or what position people are playing. That's how you have to become like super narrow-minded, beloveds. Because it's time to retreat and recollect and remember. As I said in a previous episode, our higher selves, for us who are spiritual beings having a physical experience, as everything physical and inorganic, it transforms and gets cleansed, we are retreating back into our spiritual selves, and we're here to collect our consciousness, but we have a role to play. And in that role, not only do we liberate ourselves, but we liberate the collective. So the most important thing is not starting any organization or picketing or whatever. It's holding your position. I mean, if your position involves opening an organization, well and good, but it shouldn't be anything like what Babylon has done before. How are you holding down your position? How much have you dedicated to learning about your position, beloveds? The destiny, the role you're supposed to play, because we're up next. In fact, we're up now. This is the curtain call. It's time for all of us to hold our position, to take our position and hold our position, and not look too far beyond what we're supposed to be doing, because that's one of the greatest tricks of Babylon, is to get you so caught up in real and fake stories. Movies, TV shows, other people's lives now through social media, that you totally forget your own. Or you don't even have the energy to create your own. There is a wonderful collective that is creating a new earth, beloveds. And we're doing that in our own individual lives, and it will reach a tipping point where it will change our existence forever. And we're not doing it by going around and, forming massive organizations, telling everyone to invest in this and invest in that. We're doing it by holding our position, working on purifying ourselves so that we can hold that position even better daily. And in holding that position, the world that we are supposed to create reveals itself very naturally. Tuko pamoja.